An $8 billion cleaning industry sells you specialized grout sprays, tile foams, and mold removers. Meanwhile, a 2-ingredient paste that costs 31 cents nukes blackened grout snow white in under 10 minutes. This is not some internet hack. A French chemist first synthesized its active compound in 1818. By 1930, American grandmothers had it printed in homemaking magazines. Then it vanished from public memory, not because it stopped working, but because an entire industry needed you to forget it ever did. A homeowner stands in a bathroom with a dollar store bottle of hydrogen peroxide in one hand and a cardboard box of baking soda in the other. No fancy labels, no corporate logos, just 2 ingredients that together cost less than a cup of gas. She pours half a cup of baking soda into a bowl, adds a splash of peroxide, and mixes until the paste looks like thick icing, a simple homemade recipe. A toothbrush takes a swipe, and the gritty white blend is pressed deep into the blackened grout lines. The clock starts ticking. Within minutes, the change is visible. The paste bubbles and fizzes, sending up the sharp tang of clean oxygen. 10 minutes later, a quick scrub wipes away years of grime, mildew, and soap scum. The grout that looked doomed is suddenly blindingly white. No bleach, no fumes, no gloves, no $12 bottle from the cleaning aisle. Just water and oxygen left behind, safe enough for a toddler to crawl on. The price? 31 cents for the peroxide, a few pennies worth of baking soda. The result? The kind of clean that usually comes with a 3-figure invoice from a pro. This is the method grandmothers swore by, shared at church socials, passed from mother to daughter, quietly erased from store shelves as branded sprays took over. The evidence sits right there on the tile, a transformation that cost less than $1 and less than 10 minutes. The question isn't whether it works. The question is why so few people remember it. Why such useful knowledge became forgotten. Next, the story jumps back to a Paris laboratory in 1818, where the secret first came to life. In the spring of 1818, deep inside a Paris laboratory, a young chemist named Louis Jacques Thénard coaxed a strange pale blue liquid from a mix of barium peroxide and nitric acid. He called it oxygeny, oxygenated water. What looked like a simple potion in a glass beaker would become hydrogen peroxide, a compound so reactive it startled Thénard himself. His notes, published in the Annales de Chimie, described how the liquid fizzed and decomposed with heat, releasing pure oxygen. The world had never seen anything like it. Thénard's discovery wasn't just a scientific curiosity, it was a breakthrough that would ripple through medicine, industry, and eventually every household. Born to a peasant family in rural France, Thénard rose to the highest ranks of French science, earning a professorship at the Collège de France by 1810, and later a baron's title for his service. His name stands among the 72 scientists honored on the Eiffel Tower, a testament to his legacy. By 1858, hydrogen peroxide had already begun to rewrite the rules of cleanliness. British physician Benjamin Ward Richardson, writing in the Lancet, urged surgeons to use a 3% solution as an antiseptic. He claimed it destroyed putrefying matter without harming living tissue, a bold promise, decades before antibiotics. Soon after, French textile mills were bleaching wool with peroxide, marveling at its gentle power compared to harsh chlorine. Manuals from the mid-1800s listed peroxide as the cleaner of choice for glass, porcelain, and metal. Even cosmetics makers caught on, marketing peroxide lotions to lighten skin and hair. What started as a laboratory, Marvel quickly became the backbone of a new, oxygen-driven approach to cleaning and bleaching. The recipe for a safer, more effective clean was public knowledge, shared in journals, trade catalogs, and household guides long before the first branded cleaner ever hit a store shelf. In kitchens and bathrooms across the South, the recipe lived on scraps of paper and in the back of family ledgers. In Atlanta, a 1930 household account book records a curious entry: peroxide, 68 cents, baking soda, 10 cents, no man needed. The woman who kept that ledger was no chemist, just a mother of four, stretching every penny, and determined to avoid the $5 charge from the local handyman for what she called grout doctoring. She mixed her paste in a chipped bowl using the same formula her mother passed down at a church sewing circle: a spoonful of baking soda, a splash of hydrogen peroxide, and a patient hand with an old brush. That paste did not just clean, it erased years of grime, mildew, and soap scum, leaving grout lines bright as new linen. Good Housekeeping's May 1930 issue ran the method in black and white: combine soda and peroxide to form a paste, apply to tile grout, let stand, then brush away stains. For decades, the tip traveled by word of mouth, whispered at potlucks, scribbled in recipe boxes, shared in letters across county lines. Housewives compared notes on how many bottles it took to keep a school bathroom white through summer heat. One Atlanta family's ledger, now yellowed with age, tallies the savings: over $120 spared in 5 years, every dime redirected to groceries, school books, or a rare treat from the bakery. The real power of this household trick was not just the chemistry, it was the quiet rebellion against waste and expense. Grandmothers taught daughters, daughters taught neighbors, and the knowledge clung on, even as store shelves filled with new promises and higher prices. Somewhere between the church basement and the drugstore aisle, the old ways slipped out of sight, buried under a flood of branded bottles and jingles. But the ledger remains, a stubborn reminder that the best solutions do not always come with a label or a markup. Hydrogen peroxide's secret isn't just its age, it's the chemistry. At the heart of every fizzing scrub, a simple reaction is unfolding. The peroxide molecule, H2O2, is unstable by design. When it touches organic stains, mold, mildew, soap scum, the stuff that turns grout black, it splits apart, releasing a burst of reactive oxygen. These oxygen atoms do not just sit there, they attack the double bonds in the pigments and proteins that give stains their color, breaking them down into tiny, colorless fragments. What is left? Water and oxygen. No lingering poison, no choking fumes, just the same elements you would find in a rainstorm. Baking soda joins the action as more than a sidekick. Its fine, gritty crystals scour away the loosened grime, while its gentle alkalinity helps peroxide work faster. The result is a 1-2 punch, chemical and physical, that wipes out stains at the molecular level. Lab tests back it up. A University of Illinois study found that a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution, the same strength sold at any pharmacy, killed 94% of mold colonies on tile grout in just 10 minutes. That is not folklore. That is peer-reviewed science. Even the EPA gives a nod to peroxide, listing it as a preferred alternative to bleach for cleaning mold in homes and schools. It is effective, it is safe, and it breaks down into nothing but water and oxygen. As one environmental lab researcher put it, you do not need a hazmat suit, just a bottle from the drugstore and a little patience. This is not a trick. It is chemistry that has been hiding in plain sight for over 2 centuries, and every branded cleaner that boasts oxygen power is quietly borrowing the same science, just with a higher price tag and a prettier label. A row of grimy tile sits under the glare of a kitchen light, divided into 3 sections. On the left, a squeeze of the best-selling branded grout cleaner, $12 for a bottle that promises miracles. In the middle, a thick swirl of contractor-grade concentrate, the kind pros tote in unmarked jugs, diluted just enough to avoid warnings on the label. On the right, the old family standby, a paste of hydrogen peroxide and baking soda, whipped up for less than 31 cents. 3 brushes, 3 timers, 1 goal. See which one actually erases years of grime. The branded cleaner goes first. Sharp chemical scent fills the air. The label says, wait 5 minutes, scrub, then rinse. 10 minutes later, the grout is lighter, but faint stains linger in the cracks. The contractor concentrate comes next. It foams, stings the nose, and leaves a sticky residue that needs extra rinsing. The stains fade, but the tile feels slick, almost greasy. Then comes the DIY paste. No fumes, only the faint scent of oxygen. The fizz starts instantly, bubbling into the crevices. After 5 minutes, a single swipe of the brush reveals a line of grout so white it looks brand new. The stopwatch tells the story. The paste outpaces both competitors, working faster and rinsing cleaner. No harsh residue, no gloves, no warning labels. The cost? 31 cents for the homemade paste versus $3 per use for the branded cleaner. The verdict is plain. The so-called secret weapon isn't locked in a lab or hidden behind a trademark. It's sitting in the medicine cabinet and pantry, waiting for anyone willing to trust a grandmother's recipe over a corporate promise. The evidence is right there on the tile, and the worst part? Grout is just the beginning. The same trick works across your entire house. Different problem, different powder, same playbook. The industry charges hundreds. The fix costs $1. I got so tired of watching people get robbed that I put together everything I found. 50 problems, 50 fixes, every one of them under $5. It is all in one guide. Link in the description, first line. Now let me show you exactly what to do with this one. $1's worth of science that outshines the industry's best. Somewhere in the rush of post-war America, a quiet erasure took place. By the early 1960s, sales of bulk hydrogen peroxide to households had dropped by 45%, a free fall that didn't match any sudden change in science or safety. The shelves that once held plain brown bottles and baking soda boxes began to crowd with a rainbow of new, single-purpose cleaners. Each promised speed, convenience, and a shortcut to spotless tile, all wrapped in bright packaging and catchy jingles. The old paste recipe, passed down at sewing circles and church socials, faded from memory, replaced by spray bottles that cost 10 times more and delivered less with every squeeze. Branded cleaners multiplied, each one carving out a slice of the market by claiming a unique formula or a secret ingredient. The truth? Many of these products quietly relied on the same peroxide chemistry, just dressed up with fragrances and stabilizers, then sold at a premium. The convenience culture took hold, and with it, the notion that only a specialist or a specialized product could tackle dirty grout. The wisdom that once moved from grandmother to granddaughter was drowned out by marketing budgets and aisle after aisle of new bottles. The result was a generation taught to forget what had always worked, opening the door for a billion-dollar cleaning industry built on confusion and convenience. The cleaning aisle looks like a rainbow, bottles for every surface, every stain, every scent. But behind the colors and the catchy slogans, there is a simple truth. The U.S. household cleaning market is an $8 billion juggernaut, and the real profit lies in keeping things complicated. Major players like Procter & Gamble, SC Johnson, and Reckitt Benckiser rake in billions each year, not by inventing better chemistry, but by selling the same old peroxide under new names with a price tag that is 10 times higher. The patents tell the story in black and white. U.S. patent number 6,823,102 covers a blend of hydrogen peroxide and surfactants for tile cleaning, essentially a dressed-up version of what grandmothers have mixed for a century. Patent 7,451,558 claims a fragrance masking system, not a cleaning breakthrough. The real cleaning power is still peroxide, still soda, still $1 or less per use. In 2021, the Wall Street Journal uncovered internal memos from top cleaning brands, revealing a deliberate push to bury peroxide's reputation. Marketing teams focused on multi-step systems and proprietary blends, while the active ingredient, plain hydrogen peroxide, was buried in the fine print. The following year, a class action lawsuit forced one company into a $3.2 million settlement for misleading labels, exposing the industry's strategy, keep the cheap solution out of sight, and the premium bottles flying off the shelves. Every dollar spent on a branded grout cleaner is a dollar paid for confusion. The economics are clear, there's no profit in a 30-cent miracle, so the miracle had to be hidden. A single visit from a tile cleaning service can run anywhere from $500 to $1,500, depending on the size of the job and the neighborhood. That is not for a remodel or a new floor. It is just for scrubbing the same stains that $1's worth of powder can erase. The math is not subtle. A gallon of contractor-grade peroxide concentrate goes for about $30 to $40, enough to clean dozens of bathrooms. But when the same chemistry is bottled, branded, and lined up on store shelves, the price jumps to $3 per use. Compare that to 31 cents for the pharmacy peroxide and a scoop of baking soda. Every extra dollar goes straight into someone else's pocket. Marketers, middlemen, and the companies who sell confusion as convenience. The industry's entire playbook depends on homeowners believing that only a professional or a special label can tackle dirty grout. The truth is, the so-called professional secret is not a secret at all. It is hiding in plain sight, buried under a pile of invoices and empty promises. Half a cup of baking soda, a quarter cup of hydrogen peroxide. That is the entire recipe. No hidden step, no secret ingredient, no fine print. Pour the baking soda into a bowl, then slowly add the peroxide, stirring until you get a thick, spreadable paste. It should look and feel like cake icing, dense enough to cling to grout, but not so runny it drips away. For a standard bathroom, this amount covers about 10 square feet of tile. For larger jobs, just double the batch. Now press the paste deep into the grout lines using an old toothbrush or a nylon scrub brush. Do not just swipe over the surface. Work the mixture into every crevice. Let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. That is the sweet spot. Enough time for the peroxide to fizz and bubble, breaking apart mold, mildew, and soap scum at the molecular level. For stubborn stains, cover the paste with plastic wrap and leave it for up to 30 minutes. The reaction leaves behind only water and oxygen. No harsh fumes, no chemical residue. After the wait, scrub once more, then rinse with warm water. The grout flashes white, the stains dissolve, and there is nothing left but the smell of clean. No gloves, no goggles, no warning labels, just $1's worth of science that can be repeated as often as needed. For colored grout or natural stone, test a small hidden spot first to avoid lightning. That is it. The method is simple and safe. The only thing complicated is how it ever disappeared. Not every surface is fair game for this dollar miracle. Hydrogen peroxide, even at the common 3% pharmacy strength, is still an oxidizer, a chemical that breaks down stains, but can also bleach out color from things you didn't mean to whiten. Natural stone like marble or travertine is especially vulnerable. The same reaction that erases black grout lines can leave pale, blotchy scars on stone or colored grout. Always test a hidden spot first. If the grout lightens or the stone dulls, stop right there. Another word of caution: never mix hydrogen peroxide with vinegar or ammonia. That combination can release dangerous gases, peracetic acid with vinegar, or toxic chloramines if you are cleaning near bleach. Stick to the basics: peroxide and baking soda, nothing else. And forget about using industrial strength peroxide. The 35% food-grade version is a whole different animal, capable of burning skin and eyes in seconds. The drugstore 3% is all you need for tile and grout, safe enough for bare hands, but still a powerhouse against stains. For ongoing protection, a weekly spray of undiluted 3% peroxide on bathroom grout keeps mold and mildew from coming back. It is a simple habit that costs pennies, but saves hundreds in the long run. Respect the limits, follow the recipe, and the only thing left behind will be water, oxygen, and a little bit of pride. Every revolution starts with a single act of defiance. A $1 bottle of hydrogen peroxide and a scoop of baking soda, that's all it takes to reclaim what was quietly stolen by the cleaning aisle. This is not just about scrubbing grout. It is about breaking the cycle of confusion and cost that has kept generations reaching for overpriced bottles. The method is out of hiding now, and the next move belongs to anyone with a brush and a bit of curiosity. Imagine a world where every household stops believing the myth that clean grout requires a specialist or a secret formula. It starts with one person mixing the paste, watching the fizz, and seeing the white lines reappear where darkness ruled. But it does not end there. Take a photo, text it to a friend, post it in the family group chat, share the results. No filter, no sales pitch, just proof that the old ways still work. Neighbors compare notes, parents teach kids. Weekly, a quick spray of peroxide keeps the mold away, and every shared story chips at the industry's hold. The knowledge spreads, not as a trend, but as a return to common sense. Each time someone documents their success, the secret gets a little harder to bury. The power is back where it belongs, in the hands of ordinary people, passing it on. Right now, cleaning corporations still flood shelves with overpriced formulas and flashy sprays, while a 30-cent powder, trusted by generations since 1818, breaks down stains at the molecular level and leaves behind nothing but water and oxygen. The real secret isn't hidden in labs, it's hiding in plain sight, buried beneath decades of profit-driven confusion. Knowledge is power, and this time it costs less than $1. What will you choose next?